Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and this is going to be a review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Big Depression Energy Season 3 Episode 12, I think. So we are still in Vegas, but this is the last day of Vegas and everybody's packing up, and it starts off with watching various people packing up their suitcases in their rooms. Kimmy goes in to talk to Tisha, and she tells Tisha, man, what did you think about all the stuff that Marcel had said about his depression? And Kimmy said that she was actually surprised, that Marcel had revealed so much about his mental state and how he was depressed. Tisha cries, she's trying to hold back the tears, but you can see them welling up in her eyes. And she said, well, this is the main reason why she wanted to go to therapy, because she saw, some signs, I guess, in her man, and obviously some signs in her marriage. And Kimmy tells Tisha that, if you ever need to talk, just reach out to me. I'm here for you. Just, let me know. Okay, fine. Destiny and Tiffany, they have a little sidebar. They make plans that once they get back to Huntsville, they're going to make time to talk and, try to work on their relationship, try to make things better between them two, which is a good thing. Then we have a scene with all the guys sitting around eating outside because they had made some steak and eggs, I think. I'm not sure. They're talking about how, the stress of needing to succeed, needing to achieve, all this stuff is like, it can take a toll on you mentally. Therefore, why you have these issues with, why Marcel was having, talking about his issues and how stressed out he was. And, they're basically, we're saying, the pressure of being an overachiever, the pressure of succeeding, this thing of constantly working and grinding, and you never have a moment's, to like mentally decompress and mentally, just rest your mind. At least you don't even have that opportunity. You're constantly moving on to the next project, trying to build your empire, and how that can affect a person mentally. Melody and Tiffany meet at Melody's office. So Melody has a brand called God Said Go, which came from one of her internet wars with Martell. And Martell had told her something online about how she shouldn't have done something or how she shouldn't have gone somewhere. And Melody's response was, well, God said go. So she's making this into a whole t-shirt line, masks, I think fanny packs, and hats, baseball caps. And I think that's a good slogan. I think that's a sellable slogan. God said go. And so Martell and Lewis, they meet up with their boys. This isn't like a real choppy review because I'm just trying to get through it, because I could tell this was like a real throwaway kind of episode. Martell and Lewis meet up with their sons. I think Lewis is a coach of some type of league, baseball league for the kids. And I guess Martell wants his son to join. So when they're meeting up, they talk about what happened in Las Vegas. And Lewis is telling Martell that, from what I saw in Las Vegas, you kind of have, you have an issue controlling your anger, especially around Melody. And Martell, of course, he tries to justify it, talking about, she pushes his buttons. And Lewis said, no, it doesn't even matter that she's pushing your buttons or whatever she's saying or whatever she's doing. You are in control of you. So you really need to make an effort to stay in character when anyone, whether it's Melody or someone else, when they're trying to get under your skin and they're trying to get you to react. You need to really be in control of that, which is the truth, because him and Melody, it is so ugly. And I wish that they could think about their children when they're about to dive into these, battles with each other, because like they need to think, do we want our children? Your children will see this because this is forever out there. Do I want my kids seeing us go at it like that? Maybe that's how they went at it at home and the kids are used to it, and now we're just seeing it on camera. But the way they go at it, it is so vicious and it's bad. Martell tells Lewis that he wants full custody of the children because Melody is always gone and she's leaving her children with various babysitters, and he doesn't like that. So he wants to have custody of his kids. And Lewis is like, what do you think Mel's going to say about that? And Martell actually had the audacity to say that she probably wouldn't mind. Okay, Martell. The Scotts, Kimmy and Maurice, Letitia and Marcel all go out to dinner. And as they're sitting at dinner, they're talking about Marcel's depression and what he said in Vegas. And he's really trying to downplay it. He's really trying to minimize it and say, hey, I'm still trying to figure out if what I'm going through is actually depression, or maybe I'm just stressed out about work. So I'm just going to kind of play it out and see if it's still going to be there once my project is over. Then I'll know that there's probably an issue, but it might go away when my project ends. And this is probably all stress induced. Tisha offers to help, and she's like, you need to come talk to me about it, and whatever she said about coming to her. And Marcel said, well, I just need you. No, she asked him, what do you need me to do to make it better? What do you want me to do for you? And he goes, I just need you to listen. And the way he said it was kind of abrupt and not so nice, but he was basically like, I just need you to listen. Tisha said that Marcel should talk to her more. And then Kimmy says, well, he should probably think about therapy, talking to a counselor, which is what Tisha had always wanted, was for him to go to therapy. But then when Kimmy mentioned it, Tisha was like, well, I wish he would also come to me first, come to me as his wife. He needs to come to me first. And then Kimmy said, well, what if the spouse is the problem? What if the spouse is part of the problem and he can't come to you? And then in her confessional, Tisha was like, so is she trying to blame me for his depression? And she goes, there she goes again, throwing shade at me. And I didn't see it that way at all. I don't think Kimmy was trying to say, well, he can't come to you because you might be the problem. I mean, she did say that, but I think what she was trying to say, maybe there's issues in the marriage that he probably doesn't feel comfortable talking to you about, and maybe he should probably talk to like a third party about it, i.e. a therapist, someone that he could probably be more free, because she's not going to be able to objectively assist him. She can't look at the issue objectively when she's involved in it with him. So I didn't see that as Kimmy throwing shade, but Tisha's so darn sensitive. So Tisha compares Marcel's depression to her aunt's cancer at the dinner table. Now, what she meant by that was, because Marcel was trying to downplay it, trying to minimize it, trying to say that, maybe it's just a little bit of stress and we'll see what happens after my project. And so Tisha was like, well, that's exactly how my aunt was, when she found the lump in her breast or something, she was just like, oh, maybe it's nothing, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. By the time that it wasn't going away, and she went to the doctor, she got diagnosed, and soon after that she passed away from cancer. So she doesn't want this issue with Marcel to get worse than what it is, and so he needs to nip it in the bud now. And I think he had asked something about, so how is it, if I don't take care of it, like, what do you mean, how can it get worse? And she said, you're probably going to have like a mental breakdown, you could probably end up having a mental breakdown. And Maurice even offers to go to therapy with Marcel. And I remember Maurice also had mentioned at the dinner something about, because Marcel, I said that maybe this is all related to my project that I'm working on. And it's just kind of stressing me out. And Maurice has said, but man, you've been going through that. But you said you've been dealing with this depression for a year. And Marcel was like, well, my project has been about a year. And so now he's trying to make it really work related, stress related from work. Like, he's truly trying to push that, and not about what he had set up the dinner table, which was completely different. Because in Vegas, he had talked about how, he couldn't find any happiness, and he doesn't have a lot of expectations in life because he doesn't want to be disappointed. And I mean, he made it seem a lot worse in Vegas. And now he's just like, oh, I'm just stressed out about work. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. He probably felt like he said too much. He revealed too much. Now, maybe he just wanted people to listen. Maybe that's what it was. And he didn't want all of this advice about therapy and this, and that. He just wanted people to listen to him, maybe, and just kind of tell him it's going to be okay, hang in there. And maybe that's the kind of therapy that he needed, instead of, you need to go see a professional and we're worried about you and you're going to have a mental breakdown. And so his brother offers to go to therapy with him. And he was like, no, he's not going. So then the big showdown number 57 between Martell and Melody. So Martell wants to have this meeting with Mel to talk about the children and custody of the children. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's a lot of nonsense between these two grown adults. It's really a lot of nonsense. So, Martell had mentioned something about how when they were married and she would go on these trips, these business trips, that she would be gone. And he was insinuating that she was probably seeing someone when she would be gone on these trips. And I'm tired of Martell trying to indicate that Melody was having these secret lovers during their marriage. I'm really tired of that, because if she was smart enough to keep it under wraps, where nobody can prove anything. You were just all out there messy. Your mistress was out there on her social media platform. You had a kid out of this. You were just out there just wilding out. So even if Mel did have, a little boo thing on the side, at least she was smart enough to keep it under wraps so no one can prove anything. So you're just giving a lot of lip service, but I'm pretty sure Melody wasn't. So for him to constantly that's got to be so infuriating for Melody, that he's constantly accusing her of doing something that she probably didn't even do. And this is like the mother of your children. Your stuff is out there, Martell. You put your stuff out there for the whole world to see what you were doing. So you can't deny it. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't lie about it. It's out there. Your mistress is talking. You have a kid to prove what you were doing. It's out there. And you got caught. Or you were messy about it, or you wanted to get caught. Who knows? So for you to try to be like, well, and when you were gone on these trips, you were always, you'd be gone 2 or 3, 4, 5 days at a time. And I don't know who you were with or what you were doing. And I'm just like, why would you want to besmirch? I don't know if that's a real word. I don't know why you want to drag your wife's name through the mud like that, just to kind of be this whole tick for tack. Well, if you're accusing me of being unfaithful, I'm gonna accuse you of being unfaithful, even though I have no proof of it. This is still the mother of your kids. You want your kids thinking that about their mom when you have no proof. Now, if Melody was out there being messy like you, and her dude was out there talking to everybody on social media, and she had a kid that it turned out wasn't yours, was actually her lover's, if it was something like that, yeah, but you have no proof, and you would rather risk your children's mother having this bad reputation just so that you can be like, well, she did it too. Instead of just owning what you did, apologizing, and moving forward from that, you are going to make sure that if you go down, you're going to take the mother of your children down with you with no evidence, no proof. And yes, you're angry because you're mad at yourself. I'm pretty sure you want her back, but it's too late now. But I'm pretty sure you want her back and you want things to be the way they were. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. And so you're so angry. I don't know if you feel like if you shame her enough, she's going to come back to you, or she's going to be like, oh, I don't want you telling all my business, so let me go ahead and give you what. I don't know what Martell is. I just hate it that he is willing to do this, not to Melody, but to the mother of his children, who will have to see this, and who you're going to have to explain to them at one point why you said what you said about their mom, especially if you have no proof. So he was like, instead of you letting the kids being watched by other people, just give them to me. Let me be your first choice of who you leave the kids with. And she was like, I don't have to do anything. She goes, all you got to worry about is following this order, following this divorce decree, because the visitation, all of that is set up in there. That's all you got to worry about. When my kids are with me, I choose who they're going to be with. If I'm going to be at work, if I'm going to be working, and you choose who you're going to leave them with when you're out there working. And she says, if you don't like it like this, file a petition. Go ahead and file. And I'm like, yes, Melody. Yes, 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 yes. If he doesn't like this arrangement, he needs to go to court and get it changed. Let the judge handle it. If y'all, because obviously these people cannot communicate at all. They can't agree on what day of the week it is. So anything regarding children, assets, money, the past, anything, they're not going to agree on. So he needs to stop trying to talk to her because it's not going to work. So if you want to see your children, if you want your children more, if you want full custody, 50-50 custody, first dibs on babysitting, go to court, Martell. Just don't even bother with these ugly, nasty, toxic scenes that your kids are going to see one day, and just go to court and deal with it through the courts. That's all I have to say about that. And that's the end of that. Quick little review, 15 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this review just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, give me a thumbs up. If you like it even more, go ahead and subscribe. It's perfectly okay. You'll like it over here, I promise. Talk to you later.